And today we're going to be looking at the DURATECH 50-piece tap and die set. That's right. I was sent this tap and die set to look at and review for you. So let's open it up, see what we're going to get, and check it out. And here's the tap and die set itself. You get a catalog of other tools, a thank you note, always nice. And let's go ahead and see if we can get into this. Does cover metric and SAE, so standard and metric, very nice. I like the case. It's a nice thick HDPE, it feels like. It's blue on one side, black on the other. Let's open it up and see what's inside. Ooh, check this out. The first thing you're going to notice is, not a manual. You do get a manual. But the first thing you're going to notice is everything's in place. How cool is that? I mean, check out this set. When I opened this case, you didn't have pieces and parts falling everywhere. That means it's a good case, and that's off to a good start. Now, it looks like you have all your taps up here. These are the metrics. These are the standard. And then these are metric and these are standard. So the top row is standard. The bottom row is metric. Here's all your dies at the bottom for making threads if you need to. You also have the wrench for the taps. And you have the wrench or the holder or whatever you want to call it for the dies as well. And then you have a smaller one for the smaller taps so you can just do it by feel and by hand. Now in the kit they also do include these little gauges that have example threads on them. You see how it looks like little teeth? That's not a saw. That's so if you're trying to figure out what thread that you have that you need to cut, you can use these little gauges and match it up to the thread, and then you know which tap or die to use. And you do get one for standard and metric. So that's a very, very nice add-on. You also get a screwdriver in here, and this is used, of course, for whenever you put your dies in here. You can crank it down and hold it in place. So it's a complete kit. They give you everything you need to get going. Everything has a nice little coat of oil on it to help prevent rusting. So the sizes that you get, and you do get the machine thread and the coarse thread as I call them, and it goes 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, and 1/2 inch on the standard side. And then on the side over here, you do have a 1/4 inch and an 1/8 inch -27. Now on the metric side, you have the 1.25 and the 1.0 thread, and you have M8, M9, M10, M11, 1.5, and then the M12. So lots of sizes covered. When it comes to the dies, you have M6, M7, M8, M9, M10, M11, M12. And then for the standard sizes, you have 1/8 inch, 1/8, 1/4, 5/16, 3/8, 7/16, 1/2 inch. So a lot of sizes are covered there. But like I said, what I think we need to do is we're going to go ahead, we're going to drill this piece of metal. Okay, so we have our bolt, we have our drill bit. So now we just need to figure out what is the thread on this bolt. I already know it's an M8 bolt, so I know the size. I do need to see what the thread is. So I'll pull out the little gauges, and it's probably a 1.5. Okay, I was wrong. It's a 1.25. So now I just need to find the M8 1.25, which is going to be this guy right here. So these are the same. So I'm going to put those right there separately. I'm going to go ahead and put these little gauges back up. I'm going to move this to the side, and I'm going to get my drill. And I'm going to try to drill a hole without hurting my table. Alright, no injuries. Alright, so now that we have our hole drilled, we're going to get our little wrench, and we're going to go ahead and we're going to screw it down on top of our tap. Get it nice and tight. Now if you were, normally when you're doing this, you're going to want to use a lubricant like WD-40 or cutting oil of some sort, especially if you're doing steel, but this is just a thin piece of aluminum, for example, so I'm not going to trouble with it. What we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and we're just going to start screwing this like you would a wood screw into the metal. If I'd used the right size drill bit, this would be a little bit easier. I didn't have a 8mm bit, I just used a standard bit. But don't worry, the tap is going to make the hole just a little bit bigger. Okay, it's starting to bite. And whenever I'm cutting threads, if it starts to bind up too much, don't hesitate to back up just a little bit and break some of that material free and to let it gall up in there, and then you can go back to cutting. And like I said, you definitely want to use lubricant. And you can see it's coming through just like so. And so our thread is now cut. So I'm just going to back this off of the tap. And now for the moment of truth. If I did it right, this bolt should actually screw into this piece of metal. Not just slip through or fall through, it should actually screw in. So, are you ready? Let's see. And check that out. You can see I can't pull it out. It is threaded. How cool is that, right? It's really nice to have something like this in your workshop, because even if you're working on something and the thread strips out on the inside, if you don't have an insert, sometimes you can go just a little bit bigger and rethread it with a slightly larger size and fix your issue on your own. Plus, with the dies themselves, let me get this set back up. Plus, let's say if I damaged this bolt, but I needed this bolt, it fell on the ground, got a burr on it or something, and I can no longer use this. I mean, I can find an 8mm by 1.25, and what you do is you screw your bolt on it, and it will recut the threads on this bolt and remove any burrs and get any debris out of it that might be keeping this from screwing in where it needs to go. Or if you need to make your own custom bolt, you can get a piece of steel and you can use these to cut threads for whatever project you may need. How cool is that? Be able to make your own bolts. Very, very cool. Very nice to have. So overall, no complaints whatsoever. It's a very nice set. It's all made out of hardened steel. The case is amazing because it actually holds everything in place. And I would definitely say that you could use this for professional use. They're all very solid, like I said. And I worked offshore in the oil fields for probably 13 years and did a lot of drilling and tapping. I worked as an industrial mechanic, and this is comparable to any set that I've used out there. Of course, the stuff we used out offshore was much bigger, but this is perfect for any shop or any garage or DIYer, and it's going to do you just fine. It's everything you need to get the job done, all in one little package, and it works very well. I hope this video helps, and thanks for watching.